Good afternoon, and welcome to our webinar, our Lunch and Learn webinar today, entitled People with Disabilities, Bringing Diverse Skills to the Workplace. My name is Shelley Richardson. I'm the Executive Director of the Statewide Independent Living Council, located in Springfield, Illinois. I want to start out with giving you some housekeeping tips. We will be recording this webinar. It will be available. We will post it to our website at SILC Silk of Illinois, all spelled out.org. And we will also be sending all of you the PowerPoint presentations after we're done with the webinar. At the end of this webinar, you will have the opportunity, and I hope you take it, to complete a very brief survey. Let us know how we're doing so that we can improve the content of the things that we bring to you. My preferred pronouns are she, hers, and hers. She, her, and hers. A brief description of myself is I'm a middle-aged white female with glasses, red shoulder-length hair, and I'm wearing a pink top with embroidery around the neck, and I'm in my office. And it has a gray wall with an abstract painting in the background. We have had a shakeup of some of our speakers that were scheduled today that had problems arise that were no fault of their own. So Robin Jones was going to be presenting the first part of this webinar, but we have an excellent fill-in that works with Robin on a daily basis. And her name is Marcy Hinsman, and she is a research specialist and project coordinator with Great Lakes ADA. And now I'm going to turn it over to Marcy. Oh, by the way, before I do that, if you have any technical difficulties, if you will drop that in the chat, Tara is monitoring that. If you have questions for any of the panelists, please enter that in the question and answer box, and we will get to them at the end of the webinar. We will be fielding all of those questions. Thank you. Take it away, Marcy.
Thanks so much. Can you guys see my screen okay? Great. So again, my name is Marcy Hensman. I'm the Project Coordinator Research Specialist with the Great Lakes ADA Center. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm a middle-aged white woman with long brown wavy hair, with brown eyes, wearing glasses, and I'm wearing a white shirt with a brown background. I joined the Great Lakes ADA Center in April of 2021, and I coordinate the Trainer Leadership Network program for the Great Lakes region, conduct trainings on various aspects of the Americans with Disabilities Act, and I assist with providing technical assistance. I did have 7-year tenure as an assistant director for affirmative action and ADA programs at Purdue University. While at Purdue, I was tasked with ensuring the university was in compliance with all titles of the ADA, as well as other disability laws. And that included evaluating faculty and staff for reasonable accommodations, addressing access barriers, and I implemented and oversaw the university's web accessibility policy. So that's a little bit about me. I'm going to move on to slide 2 and just going over some 10 most commonly asked questions from employers. And so one is, how do I know who is a person with a disability under the ADA? And so it's really important to understand when someone's protected under the ADA, and a person must meet this definition. And that is, there are actually 3 parts to the definition of disability under the ADA. The first is a person actually has a qualifying disability. That is, they have a physical or mental impairment, physical being a physiological disorder, condition, cosmetic disfigurement, or anatomical loss affecting one or more body systems. A mental impairment is any mental or psychological disorder, such as intellectual disabilities, organic brain syndrome, emotional or mental illness, and specific learning disabilities. And so also that those impairments substantially limit a major life activity. And so major life activities are really just important to us in our daily lives, such as caring for oneself, seeing, hearing, eating, sleeping, concentrating, thinking, communicating, interacting with others, and so on. But major bodily functions are also considered major life activities, and they include things like the digestive or bowel or bladder functions, the immune system, neurological, endocrine, the cardiovascular system, functions in the brain, and so on. And individuals who have episodic conditions, such as multiple sclerosis and abnormal cell growth, are also fall into this area. Individuals with conditions that may not be permanent but are substantially limiting could be a person with disabilities, such as those with long haul COVID. And so that's the first part of the definition. The second part of the definition, the person has a record of a qualifying disability. This applies when there's a history of like mental illness, cancer, heart disease, or other debilitating illness. And the third part of the definition is when someone is regarded as having a disability, whether or not they do so. And I'm not going to get into a lot of detail with that. So let's move on to the second question we get. Do I have to hire someone with a disability if they apply for a job? So the ADA provides certain things to ensure people with disabilities have an equal opportunity to compete and be evaluated on their merits and worth. So there may be federal employers or contractors like colleges that have affirmative action programming that require them to recruit people with disabilities to apply to jobs to increase the number of people with disabilities in their applicant pool, with the hopes that that would increase the number of people with disabilities in their company. So that's the difference. This is not affirmative action. So I just wanted to make that clear. But employers are not able to give special consideration to hire a person with disability based solely on their disability. So the key is here, people with disability must be qualified for the job. But it's important not to disqualify someone with a disability solely because they will need an accommodation. Whoops. So try not to imagine how you would perform a specific job if you had that candidate's known disability. Really concentrate on the candidate's professional knowledge, skills, abilities, experiences, and interests like you would any other applicant. So moving on to question 3. During an interview, can I ask someone to tell me about their disability? What questions can I ask? So it's really important to know that the ADA prohibits all disability-related inquiries prior to an offer of employment, even if they're related to the job, including the application. So disability-related inquiries, any question or series of questions that is likely to solicit information about a disability. Examples of prohibited disability-related inquiries include asking whether a person has had or ever had a disability, or how they became disabled, or inquiring about the nature or severity of a disability, asking whether or not they're taking any prescription drugs or medications, or whether they have taken any drugs or medications in the past. So it's really important not to ask about or type of leave they expect to take to get treatment for a condition. It's really rather important just to state your organization's attendance requirements and ask if the applicant can meet them. And this is something you really should be sharing with all your applicants. And the key, I think, really that people forget about is when you're interviewing somebody, you should be interviewing consistently with every candidate, asking every candidate the same questions. So it's really important to go back to your job description, really understand what is it I need to know about every candidate and how do I not fall into the pitfall of feeding into any kind of bias. So it's important to concentrate on the candidate's professional knowledge, their skills, their experiences. If they have a visible disability or will share that they have a disability at interview, concentrate on their qualifications, not the disability. Let them know that, okay, they said it, okay. Could you tell me more about this qualification? And just redirect the conversation. And then that puts them at ease as like, oh, okay, I put the elephant out in the room and they don't want to focus on it. They want to focus on my skill set. So keep in mind this basic rule, ask applicants about their abilities, not their disabilities. And it's really important that you ask all applicants job-related questions. So, for example, how would you perform this particular task with or without an accommodation? That's a great question to ask every single candidate. So again, that's the key to making sure something's equitable in the search process, is that you have a process and you apply it consistently across all candidates. So you want to know how someone would perform it. And I think it's really a great way of saying, how would you do this task with or without an accommodation? Because then that person with a disability doesn't feel like they have to disclose they have a disability, and they can feel confident they're answering the question honestly, because if you didn't say with or without an accommodation, they may be in this conflicted dialogue in their head of like, okay, I can do it, but I need accommodation. Do I say yes and not tell them about the accommodation? And is that lying? So I hope you can see where I'm going with this. So it's really important to be mindful of your questions and apply them consistently. So the fourth question we get is, do I have to provide someone with everything that an employer or applicant asks for? So an employer is obligated to provide an effective, reasonable accommodation that addresses the barrier the employee is facing, not necessarily what the employee has specifically requested. So the ADA requires an employer to work with an applicant or employee who has a disability to determine if there's a reasonable accommodation that would allow them to participate in that interview or do the job. And just the purpose of the reasonable accommodations, just remember, it's not to provide an advantage, but to make the person's opportunity for success or failure equal to someone who does not have that disability. So really match that request with the work-related limitation. An employer is not required to provide an accommodation that is primarily for personal use. However, personal items may be required as a reasonable accommodation when they're only needed at work. So if someone needs computer glasses, maybe a certain hearing device that only works with the company phone, or maybe someone has MS and they're doing work outside needing a cooling vest, and those devices can be left at work because they're only needed for work. Another concept of reasonable accommodation is that the ADA requirements do not prevent you as an employer from providing accommodation beyond what would be required under the ADA. And that doesn't set a precedent. So you aren't constricted by what the minimums are. You can always go above that if that's something you're comfortable with. Question 5, do I set precedents by providing accommodation for an employee? I think I just said this earlier. No, reasonable accommodation is really considered on a case-by-case basis. Sometimes this is a pitfall people fall into as they start comparing previous employees, but every situation is different. There's an analysis that goes through that, and it's really important to go through that case-by-case analysis. The key is really having procedures and even a policy for requesting accommodations that are clear on a timeline for the process, including who's responsible for each step to ensure that it is timely and efficient. I think the real big key here that gets missed a lot is educate all employees, supervisors, employees without supervision, and your HR folks. Every HR person that deals with leaves, for example, they should understand this because there's some intersectionality there with ADA and other type of leave laws. And so make sure everyone in your company knows what your policy or procedure is for reasonable accommodation, how it applies to them. Make sure supervisors know how to recognize a request. Make sure employees know where to go for accommodations. They know how to file a grievance. And make sure it's easy to find this information. I think that's the biggest complaint I get from employees that call our line is they don't know what the company does, what's the process, where do I go, and I can't find the information. Question 6, I'm afraid to hire someone with a disability because they will most likely sue me at some point. How do I protect myself? So these are the types of fears, myths, and stereotypes that the ADA was based on and passed to address this disability discrimination. These types of thoughts and myths and fears feed into our unconscious bias. And so just remember, all employees are a potential what if when it comes to litigation. You know, really follow appropriate policies and procedures when considering accommodations. Document your good faith efforts. Ensure you've communicated effectively your procedures to the employee. Follow the process, been responsive to them. Don't step any of those analysis, those steps. Many times that's a pitfall I see where employers will want to start with step 1 and go to step 10 and they skip all the steps in between. And I can tell you based on experience, employees with disabilities really appreciate an equitable process. So when I used to do employee accommodations, I had a process and I applied it the same every single time. And even though the decision may have not been what the employee wanted, most times they were okay with it because they felt like they went through an equitable process and they were heard and they were treated fairly. It's also important to create a work environment that reinforces non-discrimination based on disability. Take steps to address disability harassment in your workplace. Embrace disability as part of your overall diversity program. Do I have to pay someone with a disability even if they took a 2-hour break? So you are only required to pay someone for work that they have performed. Altered schedules, additional breaks, part-time schedules, or use of unpaid time are forms of reasonable accommodation. Consider use of other benefits to address leave for disability-related issues, such as FMLA, vacation, sick time, unpaid leave, and so on. And I could talk a lot longer about leave. If anyone ever has questions, you can reach out later. Question 8. What can I tell other employees when they ask me why someone got a special piece of equipment or time off? This is a classic question. So when I train supervisors, there's two responses I always say. One is you can explain that the company has a policy of assisting employees who encounter difficulties at work, that many of the workplace issues encountered by employees are personal, and that in these circumstances, it's the employer's policy to respect employee privacy. Basically, in a roundabout way, you're saying, mind your own business, right? You're reminding them that I'm going to protect your personal information and I'm going to protect your colleagues. So it's a nice, polite way of gently reminding employees that, they need to mind each other. Then other one you could say is that explain that your company is acting for legitimate or legal business reasons or is in compliance with federal law. And I really like these two options because at the end of the day, you're not divulging the person has a disability. You're still protecting that information. And so really, it's important, I can't stress enough, to provide training to your employees, provide that disability awareness and educate them on the accommodation process. Because the more you educate and you make it commonplace, people are going to stop asking these types of questions because they're going to understand that the employer is trying to support its employees and help them be successful in the workplace and not this tit for tat type of rabbit hole people can fall into. Question 9, how do I pay for accommodations? So it's really important to know that employers are responsible for the cost of accommodations. You are only required to provide accommodations that are reasonable. So that's where the analysis comes in for administration or financial hardship. You can't just say yes or no. You really have to be able to document that and go through that thought process. Also, employers need to allow the employee the opportunity to pay for the reasonable accommodation or part of it. Not require them, but allow them the opportunity if they offer it. An employee may also be able to utilize voc rehab services for assistance with paying for the accommodation. And if it's assistive technology, each state has assistive technology resources that can be very helpful too. Additionally, you want to consider the impact of tax credits and deductions. So you have the IRS code of 190, it's the architectural barrier removals tax deduction. You have the IRS code 44 disabled tax credit for small employers. So there are resources out there. And I guess the thing I really hope people take away is don't be quick to say no, really stop and go, did we really think it all through? Did we think through steps 1 through 10, or did we skip some in between? So really looking through that analysis and taking the time to think it through. And then question 10, how do I discipline someone with a disability? Can I fire them? Workers with disabilities are held to the same workplace standards for conduct and performance as coworkers without disabilities. So if an individual identifies a disability as the reason for the poor performance, then engage in the reasonable accommodation process to see if there's any accommodation that would allow the individual to perform the job. So my disability made me do it is not a defense. You may need to suspend, so if you've disciplined them, and then they disclose, you may need to suspend that disability action, not remove it because they didn't tell you till after you provide disciplinary action. But you should suspend it and go through that accommodation process and identify something, implement it. Once it's implemented and you know that accommodation is working, then resume, if someone's on a performance improvement plan. Because remember, the reason for things like a performance improvement plan is to help the employee improve so you can retain them. And so just remember that if people are very hesitant to disclose disabilities, but when they do, it's really important that you're removing any barriers that are causing you to evaluate them based on their disability, and put that accommodation in place so you remove disability from the equation and you're really evaluating them on their merit and giving them opportunity to meet your expectations and you retain a good employee. So if you still have questions, feel free to contact us. That's our technical assistance line, and you can also email us questions and find information on our website. And so I'll turn it back over to Shelley.
Thanks so much, Marcy. So our next presenter is Stephanie Light. She is a rehabilitation service advisor, employment resource specialist, and certified business engagement professional. She works for the Division of Rehabilitation Services Workforce Development Unit. I'll turn it over to you now, Stephanie.
Perfect. Thank you so much for the introduction. My name is Stephanie Light. I'm a Caucasian female with light brown hair, wavy shoulder length with glasses, and I'm wearing a black shirt with the DRS logo on the side and a short sleeve. I'm using an interpreter currently who is now voicing for me. I am employed as a specialist with the workforce unit with DRS, and I've been doing that for 23 years now. So I really appreciate you all being here, and thank you for having me. So I want to make sure everybody, you can see my presentation. Okay. So we are the best kept secret in the state. We are the lead agency that works with individuals who have disabilities. They come to our office for assistance with employment. We are 80% federally funded and 20% state funded. We have a variety of services that we provide to our customers, as you can see here on this list. We provide counseling, referral, training, restorative services, as well as placement. We assist individuals with disabilities to be able to find and maintain employment. Our goal is to help our customer to find quality employment that pays a living wage and offers an opportunity for them for advancement. Our VR counselors, vocational rehab counselors, start with the initial interview, and it's called an II, initial interview. They do it with the customer to find out their barriers to employment, their goals for employment, and we try to address each of those areas so that, and then they become our customer. And we want to make sure that they succeed on the job and they are in a competitive field of employment. As you can see, we have many offices throughout the state of Illinois. You can use the DHS office locator on our website at dhs.state.il.us. And you can search for the nearest local office. And you can use our tools and our toll-free number. There's 877-581-3690 for any general information regarding DRS. And you can also email us at dhs.drs@illinois, spelled out, .gov. And I'll make sure to put that in the chat for you all later if you need the information. We have 5 different regions: Region 1, 2, 3, Region 4, and Region 5. It goes from the top of the state down to the bottom. And I cover Central Illinois area. So that's Region 3. You know, the value of placement and helping an individual is what we want to bring with that, you know, with any business, whether, you know, it's with employment solutions or sometimes we might have a dual client approach. We want you to become our client as well. And we want you to be aware that, you know, the difficulties that you're having hiring a good candidate, and we can help you with that option as well. We provide the solutions for businesses as our clients to find qualified and skilled individuals who are looking for employment. We try to have inclusion, diversity, equal opportunity, accessibility, and responsiveness. And our mission is to help individuals with disabilities in obtaining and maintaining competitive employment. So our referral and application process. If you know of someone, if you're aware of someone who needs services from DRS, we do have a referral process. The counselors will be assigned to you. So they'll identify your needs first, and we'll talk with the counselor ongoing through the process so that we can successfully meet your needs. So you can check our website out. It's listed here, and you can refer yourself. You can refer family members, a caregiver, or someone can make the referral for you. You'll meet the person in person, and they'll bring their documentation of their disability. So if there's no documentation, then we'll pay for an evaluation to make sure that we do get the documentation. You can use our online rehab services website for referring yourself or someone else that may need our services. This is available online here, and that's because it is due to our offices having limited access to the public. And so this way, someone will reach out to you once they receive that online referral. We serve a very large variety of people with disabilities. Here are just a few examples of disabilities that we have interacted with in the past. We can't have an exhaustive list of all the disabilities on one page. It would be impossible. So if you have a documented disability from your physician, then you qualify for our services. These are just a few that you can see here: arthritis, hearing loss, vision loss, asthma, stroke, ADHD, anxiety disorder, diabetes, amputations. And each service will depend on your disability. We work with individuals from the age of 16 until 64. We also offer specialized VR services for individuals who are blind, visually impaired, deaf and hard of hearing, and Hispanic speaking with a disability, as well as high school students who have a disability as well, so that they can plan for their future after graduation. And we do this through our transition program. We have a work incentive plan and assistive program that will help people to be able to get that SSDI benefits, and then they can understand how that would work will impact their ability to get benefits. So the Work Pro SAP services, this is for people who have severe disabilities who want to go to work, they want employment, but they may need ongoing support services to be able to be successful in their employment. So the initial interview takes place after the counselor has reviewed the referral, and the VR counselor will create a file, and then you make an appointment so that you can learn more about you as an individual, your skills, what are your desires and your needs, and what barriers are you experiencing that we can resolve in order to get a job. And then you become a customer of our agency. And then we write what's called an IEP, an individualized employment plan. And we document what kind of services might be needed to be able to be accepted into the DRS and to get a job. So which services, we look at which are free or how much might be out of pocket. We have those kinds of discussions. So DRS set up a workforce development unit. The reason behind that was to assist businesses in the community to find qualified individuals with disabilities as employment and participate in business networking events. We work with businesses all in the area for competitive employment. And we partner with businesses, and the field office, the DRS field offices partner together. And you, as the employer in the business, you are a customer as well. The employers today need those partnerships so that they can understand the skills and the needs and inspiring these workforce individuals, who have disabilities and wanting to achieve their goals. And then that reduces those barriers for them in order to find employment. Over the years, DRS has been building a statewide network of services that we partner with who are willing to hire and train and work with individuals who have disabilities. The role of creating this partnership is critical in the success of placement for our customers within these businesses. We are here to advocate and enable qualified candidates between the employers and our customers who we serve. Behind the scenes, we're building a partnership that provides many job opportunities and matches with employees who have these skills for the candidates of the job. And so as a team member, we work as a unit and we understand the vision perfectly for the candidate and the employer based on their needs for the job itself. So if you can imagine as like a matchmaker, you all share this job availability. You want somebody to fill a position. You're looking for that perfect person. And we're here to provide that candidate for you to have the right fit. And that creates that loyal partnership. You're going to come back again for our services and resources to find good quality employees. We have a variety of companies. We have small businesses, large corporations. We work with all different specialties, whether it's janitorial or IT or manufacturing, retail, education. We try to identify full-time, part-time positions, internships, apprenticeship programs within the businesses as well. You are a customer as well because we can address the workforce needs that you have, not just a transactional kind of relationship. We have many services that can benefit you as a business owner as well. I won't name them all, but internships and trainings, accommodations, staff trainings, disability awareness, financial supports, universal design suggestions, diversity programs. There are many benefits that we can offer to the employers. What you see here on the screen is who we tend to collaborate with, different partners that consistently have success within our customers who need our services. This is what we use. While we're working with our businesses that hire our customers, we provide a variety of different types of benefits as well that you can take advantage of. Showing more advantages than negative disadvantages, obviously. With 1 in 4 Americans living with some type of disability, having an inclusion of people with disabilities within your workforce is an asset. It's a very important element of that engagement of the workforce, and it must be there for that diversity and inclusion and that incentive. When you think about hiring an individual with a disability, some employers tend to have this resistance and a reservation. But within that need and that cost, that match, those concerns, you will not need to worry about them anymore. Usually those resources and those organizations that are out there that can help you to reduce that fear and that resistance to hiring somebody with a disability. We love seeing our customers succeed off and on the job. It's very inspirational to see the results of many of our clients who are placed within a successful competitive employment. And you can check out our success stories on our website, but these are just a few benefits that our job seekers find and experience. They earn and support from their families, they increase their self-esteem. They have access to labor markets, they have more opportunities within the work of competitive levels and moving up within their job. As you can see here, there are many reasons, multiple reasons of why you should hire somebody with a disability. They are good for business. Many reasons, such as less turnover. It improves the morale within the company. It improves your overall culture within the business. It expands your consumer marketing as well with who you reach out to. Federal contracts require under 503C Rehab Act of 73 to improve the company's bottom line, so to speak. And there's a sense of loyalty to the business as well. So National Disability Employment Awareness Month happens every year in October. This year in October 2022, the theme is disability, part of the equity. That was chosen for the theme for this year. We recognize that employers from all over the state of Illinois have done an amazing job with DRS. And I want to recognize that and tell you that we recognize 2 employers who are actually on the presentation today. Peoria Production Supplies, they have accepted the Employer of the Year last year, as well as Caterpillar. They received Employer Partnership Award last year. And they are both here today on this call. And they are an excellent example of having that effort of working with DRS and employing people with disability, and we really appreciate them. There are many resources out there and organizations that can assist you in the process of hiring an individual with disability within the workforce. Naturally, you can contact DRS on our website. There's more information about accommodations there as well. And you can reach out to Job Accommodation Network, JAN for short. And you can hire somebody with an ability to tap into that ability of what they offer. This is my contact information. If you need to contact me, I really appreciate you having me here today. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll give it back to Shelly. Thank you so much, the interpreter.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Appreciate it. So our next speaker is indeed from Caterpillar. Her name is Jenny Heather, and she is the Regional HR Manager. Hey, take it away, Jenny.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to just share my screen here. Okay. Can someone confirm that they can see my screen?
Yes, we see it.
Perfect. Okay, so I am Jenny Heather. She, her, or hers, and I have blonde shoulder length hair. I am Caucasian female. I'm wearing a black t-shirt with a Caterpillar logo across the middle. I'm sat in an office in the Champagne facility with my fellow HR colleague, Tammy Nettles, who will introduce herself in a moment. I am the regional HR manager for Caterpillar Integrated Logistics, and we partner with the Department of Rehabilitation in the Champagne area, and we've worked with them since probably the middle of 2021. And I'll talk about that partnership in a little more detail in a moment. My regional role covers Champagne, Corinth, Lafayette, and Fountain Inn. And I have worked with Caterpillar since, well, 17 years, so quite some time. Anything else to add on that? I think that's about it. I'm English. I'm actually from England, so I have an accent. I have an English accent, but I've lived in America since 2015, but I've been with Caterpillar all of that time. I'm in the office with Tammy Nettles. I will let her introduce herself as well because she is the local HR for Champagne.
Hi, everyone. My name's Tammy Nettles, she, her, and hers. I have short, light brown hair, brown eyes. I'm wearing a black shirt with the Caterpillar logo on it today, and I'm sitting in our local office here in Champagne. Like Jenny said, I'm the local HR manager here. So I sit on site at the Champagne facility. Is that it?
Yep, I think that's about it. That's who we are. So we'll move through some of the material that we'll share today, and we can send this out afterwards. But as Stephanie very kindly pointed out, we are one of the partner companies that work with her team in the Champagne area. And we're very proud of the partnership. It was very intentional to reach out to the local Department of Rehabilitation Services. We wanted to increase our hiring efforts in the area. The site here in Champagne had nearly 500 employees at the time. It's mainly warehouse associate positions. We have competitive wages. We have safe work environment, and we wanted a talent pipeline, and so we reached out to the Rehabilitation Services Group, and Stephanie introduced us to her team, and we've been working with them to the point now that we actually received the partnership award last year. You can see the award there. I'm pictured On the left in the middle is our facility manager, Jordan Costello, who has now moved on. We have a new facility manager who is equally as proud of the partnership. And on the right-hand side in the blue sweatshirt, you can see Tammy Nettles, who introduced herself earlier. She is the local HR. We also, in trying to prepare our organisation for more intentional hiring efforts with the rehabilitation services with individuals with disabilities or abilities, as we're saying, we also reached out to an external consultant, and they came in and they provided training to our hiring managers and to our section managers, just to help them feel more comfortable with any questions that they had about the different team structures, about different team members that would be joining us, and just to take away any level of uncertainty that they had based on all of the reasons that we've heard previously with the previous two presenters. So we wanted to take away the uncertainty, take away that feeling of risk that they were going to do something wrong, and to help introduce more people into our teams that have different abilities. So that's an overview of our purpose. So the rehabilitation partnership with Stephanie's team, what we initially did was we invited her group to come to our facility for a tour and to meet our section managers, to meet some of our team members, and to see the types of roles that we had. So they wanted to learn the conditions that people would be working in, what type of job roles, and basically that would help them with the matching. So their customers, their consumers could then be more appropriately matched to the skills and abilities that we needed at our particular facility here in Champaign. So we hosted them, we gave a tour, we answered questions, and then we established a routine meeting. So every month, Stephanie and her team meet with us and we talk about a very set agenda. So we talk about what's going well, we talk about the services that they offer so that we're aware of different things that they offer. We talk about how many referrals we've had, how many referrals started, and how many passed an interview but we couldn't match to a position yet. And then we capture those year-to-date statistics as well. So we haven't had, it hasn't been 20 associates that we have hired. It's been more like 5, but they have been very successful. We've had associates that have needed job coaches, and the job coaches have worked with them up until the point that they feel comfortable. And then the associate works independently with our section manager and the team leads. We have had referrals that have stayed with us and then gone into education full time. We've had an associate that promoted out of the company to a different company, but in the field of IT. So it was an unrelated field that they were trying to aspire to. So we helped them get some work experience, gain that foundation knowledge while they were getting some education, and then they moved on. So it has been successful. We weren't looking for high volume, we were looking for good quality, and we were looking for an intentional partnership, which is exactly what we have got. The other thing that we discuss in those meetings that Tammy is responsible for as the local HR is asking Stephanie's team if they can help us with our existing workforce. So we actually will put forward some of our employees for referral services. So we will counter refer if we have anyone that has approached us and needs support in a certain area that we think may qualify. So we've done that quite a few times, as Tammy says there. So that it's a very interactive relationship that we have with the team. It's a very positive, helpful relationship. It's very supportive. And we have had an extremely good experience as Caterpillar with Stephanie's team here in the Illinois Champaign region. Like I said, we're very proud of put this in here as well. We did receive the partnership award. For us, it wasn't about the volume, it was about the fact that we had started the partnership last year, and together we're very determined to continue that partnership and sustain it. So we don't mind if we have 2 more referrals or 5 more referrals this year. The fact that we are intentionally working with Stephanie's team and we're creating opportunities and we're reducing barriers to employment for individuals, that was our aspiration from this partnership, and we're delighted to work with Stephanie's team. In particularly, I'll give a shout out to Dory because we work with her very closely. And that was all of the presentation material I had today. Was there anything that
I just wanted to add that we had the group on site, like you said, for a tour, and they actually got to see the jobs that we hire for to help her team, you know, with placement and things like that. So they had a very good idea of what potential positions we had. And it, you know, it might be easier to place someone in one location. So that was a huge win for us because we were able to place them appropriately.
Yeah, and in the monthly meetings, we let them know what positions we currently have available, if they're part-time, full-time, because we do have people that are referred that for individual reasons only want to work part-time up to a certain number of hours. So it's always good to have that open dialogue as well. Okay,
Right.
that was all the materials we had.
All right. Thank you so much, Jenny and Tammy, for your insights today. We really appreciate it. As I said before, we had kind of a shakeup of our speakers. So now we have a video we want to play for you from Dan Letourneau. He's the president and CEO of Peoria Production Services. I do want to let you know that you may need to turn your volume up on your computer because this sound is very soft on this video. So just a heads up. And then afterwards, we will talk with his HR manager.
I apologize I can't be there with you in person today, but I figured this was the next best thing. My name is Dan Letourneau. I'm president and CEO of Peoria Production Solutions. I've been here for 3 years. My prior life was president of Aurora Textiles for the last 5 years of the 20 that I worked there. So let me tell you a little bit about the history of Peoria Production Solutions. Initially started as Peoria Production Shop in 1941 by Dr. Maxim Pollock, who, after he cured individuals with tuberculosis, found that they weren't being employed for fear of transmissibility. So he opened up a shop on Adams Street in downtown Peoria with a $500 loan and started doing sewing work for Caterpillar, mainly canvas and leather safety goods, gloves, aprons, and hats. In 1951, Dr. Pollock incorporated us as a not-for-profit, 401c3, and started employing individuals with other types of disabilities. Today, we're over 300 employees, but we maintain a 60-40% balance of 60% of our targeted employees, which target our mission. The mission is to be the premier employer of individuals with disabilities. And today, we continue that thrust as we grow into our 2 facilities. One other thing I should mention about PPS is that we are self-funded. We get 0 state money. We do 0 fundraising or rely on donors So our revenue supports us fully. So we have to run pretty much like a for-profit business, but we do so by employing individuals with disabilities. Our culture is second to none. As we grow, we're very mindful not to allow the for-profit mentality to step in, and we continue to be very low margin but very high employment. Of our 300 plus employees, We have a 5% turnover rate, which is far below anyone else. While it might take us a while to onboard an individual with disabilities, whom we get through a lot of your organizations as well as co-op programs through high schools and referrals. It may take us a while to onboard individuals, but once they're here to stay. We provide a social network that's second to none. We provide a safe and respectful work environment as well as benefits that rival Caterpillar. Okay. As I mentioned, our tremendous growth has forced us to go to 2 facilities. Our second facility is equally as large, 110,000 square feet, but it's out behind the Peoria Airport on Smithville Road. We once had 165 employees 3 years ago, and now, as I mentioned, we are almost double that, and we continue to grow and continue to expand into new areas outside of Caterpillar and outside the traditional packaging work. One thing we're especially proud of is that we have job coaches, at one job coach at each of our plants. And why that's important is individuals with disabilities often get frustrated and have no way to express that frustration. As we all start new jobs and get frustrated, we're trained early in life to deal with these challenges. Others are not. So we have job coaches that help and alleviate and train, and will continue to report to management if an individual's having a problem with certain jobs. There we can address that by moving that person or providing other support to make their lives easier while they're here. PPS is a Monday through Friday, 7 to 3:30 occupation. We do not do second shift, do not do weekends, and that's mainly to support our culture and to provide a safe and respectful work environment. The other thing that we've done, we've taken on a company called Marketplace Chaplains, which is essentially an on-site EAP system, an employee assistance program where we have 2 chaplains who walk the floors. They come in at each of the facilities at various times, get to know our employees, and ask them how are they doing. It's just that simple. And most days they're fine. The 3rd day or 300th day, they're not fine. That chaplain then takes them aside and talks to them, and if so, offers them the EAP assistance that they can offer, but also what our insurance company offers as well. It's been a godsend for a lot of our employees, and we've also had an individual wanting to hurt themselves that we've addressed. Now, this whole process is anonymous. We don't know who that individual is. We don't need to know. We just need to know that it's been addressed by Marketplace Chaplains. So we go above and beyond the traditional benefits that most companies offer. We also are beginning an initiative with Goodwill, who received a grant for bettering the employment of individuals on the autism spectrum. Obviously, Goodwill needs to find a partner who can employ those individuals when they're done with their program, and we're happy to announce that PPS will be part of that program going forward. And that, as well as dealing with Phoenix Developmental Services, most recently Southside Mission, we have opened up, as Dr. Maxim Pollock did, our employment to individuals, not just with disabilities, but maybe have some tough challenges within life. Our tremendous growth allows us that capability and flexibility to do that, and we hope to continue that well into the future. Thank you.
We appreciate Dan sending in that video. And right now, I would like to turn it over to Erica Wilson, who is the HR manager for Peoria Production Solutions. And with her today, she also has one of their employees, Jessica. So go ahead and take it away, Erica.
All right, thank you. I'm Erica with Peoria Production Solutions. I'm the HR manager. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I am currently a middle-aged Caucasian female with light brown hair, about shoulder length. I'm also wearing a gray shirt and a black jacket that both have the PPS logo on them. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Give me just a second and let me know if you can see it. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. So as Dan said in the video, our mission is to be one of the premier employers of individuals with disabilities in the area, which is hopefully what we're doing. We have several different services: contract assembly, wrapping and packaging, sewing, cutting and finishing, rework and salvaging, and kitting. We have a pretty good track record. One of our biggest customers is Caterpillar. We have a 99% on-time delivery rate. We have over 80 years of experience. We have a very skilled workforce. We also have some certifications of ISO 9000, an FDA certification for our clean room where we make masks for local hospitals. And we have the gold level supplier quality excellence process for Caterpillar. The biggest way that we are recruiting individuals with disabilities is we work a lot with the area schools. So just about every school district here, we have about 15% of our current staff came from one of the school districts. So actually our two longest tenured employees, both here for 43 years, started off as co-ops. So it's really good. They started part-time, and then once they graduate, they're able to go full-time, and some of them never leave. So they have an abundance of skills, and they know most of the positions that we have in the shop. We also work with transition programs, which is where the schools will often partner with community resources to help individuals transition from education to adult life to working full-time. So we've had a lot of success with that. We also have recruited individuals with different community support services. Some of the local ones that we have in the area are EPIC, CWTC, Children's Home, and Peoria Rescue Ministries. Some of the ones that are a little more widely known, Goodwill, DRS, as Stephanie was presenting earlier, the Individual Advocacy Group, and the Illinois Department of Employment Security. So we work very well with all of them just to try to get people in. A lot of times what we will do first for someone that may be interested in working for us is we would come and give them a tour, just kind of let them see exactly what we do. With some people that are maybe sensitive to noise, we want them to experience that and see what the noise is and the activity that's going to be around them. We'll also, if they're interested, have them try a couple of the jobs of the packaging or auto bag or different things, and have them sit and try it for a little bit just to see if it's something that they're physically able to do and it's something that they would even be interested in doing. So we a lot of times will start with a tour with the individuals who's interested in employment, depending on if it's a school or whatever social service facility we're working with. Sometimes the parents even come along just to kind of be able to get the big picture of what we're doing. And then from there, we will see if it's something that they're interested in. We can answer any questions that way and get a little bit more information about the employee or potential employee as well. We've had several benefits of hiring individuals with disabilities, fewer attendance issues. Most of our employees are here every day. They don't call in. We even sometimes have to encourage them to take their vacation time because they just don't miss work. So it's definitely been very good. We have had a lot of success, and we have quarterly pizza parties for good attendance, and at least a third of our staff is able to attend those. At the very least, it's a third. If not, it's usually more. Very positive attitudes. A lot of the employees are happy to be there every day, see their friends. They have something that they're accomplishing every day. Our turnover is very low, as Dan said. It's around 5%. And with the schools, we've been able to retain people for a very long time. We have a greater diversity, a better culture, and longer tenured employees. So that has really been huge benefits for us for hiring individuals with disabilities. And I actually have Jessica Rosenbaum here with me. She is one of our employees. So I'm just going to kind of give her a little bit of stuff. So Jessica, how long have you been here at PPS?
15 years.
15 years. When did you start? Like, how did you come to work for us?
ECCS, which is a organization that I went through, 1980 to about 1996, I think. Okay. Not sure on the dates, but my doctor was the one who got me into ECCS, Dr. Hart.
Okay. And then Easter Seals kind of referred you to us to come work for us?
I volunteered there. I was working at the daycare. I volunteered, cleaning rooms, getting my ready for the next section. the laundry, folded it, put it away.
And then Jessica still continues to work with Easter Seals. She actually does a lot of work fundraising for them. And can you kind of tell us a little about that?
Yes, I raised over $60,000 throughout the years that I was not with them. And I was the ambassador for them in 1982.
Yeah, so we were very fortunate to work with Easter Seals and have them refer Jessica to us. She's been, as she said, with us for 15 years. She knows a lot of different jobs in that time. What job are you working on today?
Today I'm doing bottles and pros, and I'm putting the pro in, a cap in, a bottle in, and a piece of paper. And then I share it.
Yep, she drops it all in a bag and then she hits a button and it automatically seals it. What is your favorite job at PPS? That job? Yes. All right. Is there anything else you have to add? What do you like working at PPS? Like, what's your favorite thing about working here?
Actually, I have another job too, but I used to do is labeling. Check boxes and bags and stuff. So that was my favorite.
Yeah. But you still like the one you're doing, so that's good.
Right.
What is your favorite thing about PPS as a whole?
The family of friends.
Family of friends. Awesome. All right. So this is Jessica, again, one of our longer tenured employees. We love having her. And thank you so much for your time, Jessica.
Thank you.
We will back to you, Shelley.
Thank you so much, Erica and Jessica. And now we want to move into the question and answer portion. I do believe that we have a question, and I'll let Tara read that for us.
Oh. All right, I do have a couple questions. I lost one. For the Goodwill, does that extend to Goodwills in our area or just Peoria?
Us working with Goodwill, I believe it is just in the Peoria area right now for the autism initiative, but we do work with Goodwill because they do have employment services for veterans as well as some of the people have disabilities. So I would believe if you reach out to a Goodwill, they should be able to assist you with that and help with some of that employment.
And one more question, I believe this one was for Stephanie. How long does it take for DRS counselors to contact a consumer after a referral is received online?
Up to 30 days. If you haven't heard anything at that point, then please reach out to your local office and contact them. And they may need to ask for a supervisor and see if it's been assigned to a department. So definitely follow up. Don't give up, because we are not in the office every day in person. So we do apologize for the delay if that does happen. Okay.
If anybody has any other questions, please put them in the question and answer box. And while we're waiting for possibly more questions to come in, I want to remind you that at the end of this video, there will be a survey. We would really like for you to take a few minutes. Well, it's not even going to take more than a couple of minutes to complete that survey. And also the recording of this will be available in a few days up on our website. And Tara will also have the PowerPoints, and no doubt she will also include in the email a link to the recording of this, and you'll be receiving that in a few days. So, and I want to open it up to all the panelists too. Was there something that you forgot to say that's just a burning topic that you want to share with us now?
Shelley, this is Tara. I do have one more question. They've asked to share the contact information for the speakers. I will include that in an email. in the email with all the stuff.
Okay, great. And to find more information about Silk of Illinois, just go to Silk of Illinois, SILC of Illinois, all spelled out, .org. You'll also find many other interesting recordings and resources on our website. So, any last minute questions coming in?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you back some of your time then. I appreciate you all attending today, and take care. Have a good afternoon.